All right. I got one green bar, so I should be live. It's always a trip here on memory lane. Make sure my mic is up. All right. I'm finally back. Please sign back in. Greetings and welcome. All right. So we're now here, and I believe everything is back to working again. Sorry for the delay. This is the wrong one. So I'm back again, and it should be heard. Hopefully, I'm not sure why this keeps happening, but it does. So Indigo. Oh, yes, you can hear me. Thank you. Never know what's going on here. For some reason, I can't hear anything through my phone. But as long as you hear me, then I can get started. Welcome to have you here. This is an opportunity to share some metaphysical, spiritual, everyday teachings, things that we know, things that we may not know, things that we can be totally unaware of, and of course, things that, as the late Bernie Mac would say, America, I'm just going to say some things that you can't say. So, welcome to Clear Blue Radiance. Today is July the 11th, 2024. And I'm glad to be here. This is my Clear Blue Radiance podcast for the Resident Essentials Esoteric School of Metaphysics YouTube channel. And many of you may not know that it became nonprofit way back in October of last year. Finally got the status. Michelle was able to get the status, and now we're functioning fully as a nonprofit organization here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And we now, as of April the 6th, we now have a brand new location. It is fabulous. It's spacious just for us. Right now, we could hold 40 to 50 people in the back room area for classes, lectures, workshops, seminars, and all kind of other goodies. We have Wi-Fi connection back there happening. We have, in fact, we have our once a month, every second Sunday, once a month psychic fair coming up this Sunday from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Our psychic fairs are free admission, and you just pay whatever each vendor is doing, each reader or practitioner is doing. I'm usually there. I rarely miss. I don't like missing them. I like being there, and it's a way for me to sell my books and get my books out there. Uh, I have so much things going on. My cousins down in Atlanta want me to write um, a children's book, actually a melanated black comic book. I've thought about it since 2021. I've wrestled with the idea. Um, I'm not a comic book person. I've outgrown that. So it's hard for me to get back into that mindset. But since I've been somewhat of a storyteller throughout my life, uh, I do have something in the works, but I don't. I want to really take my time. I don't want to put it out until next year around by my 73rd birthday. It is another book, but it will cover ages right now 8 to 18, and I'm quite sure 18 to high 80s, only because the character, uh, the youngster in this book, can be related to everybody. So it is a new project. I know I want to like get it out like that, but the ancestors are telling me hold back and gather stories for this character. These will be real life stories, and somehow they're going to help younger people and the children inside of all of us. So I'm just going to say that part and I'm going to zip it. Now, there's a lot of things going on. I always try to advertise Resonant Essentials Esoteric School of Metaphysics. I can't do it all the time, but I do my best. We always have events. We have IONS, which is the local chapter here in Albuquerque, the Institute of Noetic Sciences. They're going to be at our facility this Saturday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. All you got to do is make donations when people are there. We haven't quite figured out how to successfully broadcast live from there. We do have the Wi-Fi. We're in a good area. It works. So we quite haven't figured out how to broadcast it so people can see from anywhere in the world. Okay, especially here in the USA. So I want to let all of you know that. I want to thank Indigo Moon. I want to thank Jackie Fillmore, Antoine, uh, Golden Timeline 711. And today is 711 Golden Timeline. I want to thank Barbara Ewing. I also want to say to Jackie Fillmore, Antoine, I don't know if you saw yesterday's text message, but I have uh, something happening for you and others that took the most recent course online, and you will be in less than, I was told by the UPS store, that within less than 8 days from early this morning, you will receive your 5 point creative pathwork system completion certificate of completion in the mail. Sister Jackie, you'll get it sometime next week. I've been mailing out a lot of these books paid for them, as well as to family members. I got two more going out to two youngsters, young men out in part of the family out in Mesa and Gilbert, Arizona. So now I got all the bases covered so I can teach all of my nieces and nephews and their families. Well, today's topic, of course, is everyone is not meant to travel with you. And we have heard this not only in our lifetime, but the lifetime of our elders knew these things. We all had to learn the hard way. So many of you already know that I'm a spiritual counselor for over 40 years, helping people gain greater clarity for themselves and to discover their purpose or redefine the purpose that they have. Our purposes change often, they change all the time. This is a message for everybody. So if you know somebody that ain't got nothing to do right now, tell them, give them the link and tell them to come over here to Resident Essentials YouTube channel as I'm on doing Clear Blue Radiance. I try to be here every Thursday at 1 p.m. I'm almost took the day off, but my ancestors said, nah, not today. Wait a little longer. So, this is an opportunity. We all experience this, no matter what age you are. When you were a child, you learned it the hard way. We always wanted to have friends, befriend just about anybody sometimes. And especially when we became um, the before the tween stage, teenager stage, middle school stage, as they call it now, and high school, especially high school. This is when we are looking for peers, right? We're really looking for the peers, and often we think we know who they are. Now we don't have a clue who the peers are, but we're looking for them. We're looking for good people. We're looking for good, solid friends. Because after all, it is very difficult going through life without having at least one or two friends that you can communicate with and talk to. And we all know the best friends are the ones that support you. Not only do they support you, but they let you know when you're off your path. They let you know when you are uh, not being who you're supposed to be. Your good friends can always tell you the truth about who you are, and that's essential. And for a lot of us, and I'm part of the dragon dinosaur crew. When I was growing up, we didn't have this. We didn't have computers. We didn't have the internet. We had those big reels computers holding data in corporations. I remember working at a electronics place that sold gadgets for planes, and we had the stock for airplanes, tanks, uh, government stuff, top secret stuff, and they had what they call the grommets and all this other stuff. I won't get into it, but um, that's all we got to see. We didn't have a desktop, laptop, a handheld computer. We didn't have these things. And because we didn't have these things, we were forced to use what? The old fashioned rotary phone. Then somebody came out with the push button phone. You definitely had a pay phone, right? You had to put your quarters, nickels, and dimes to make a call, even out of your area. And you had to wait for an operator to come on and tell you how much your call was once you told them the call numbers. So we lived without computers. We lived without cell phones. Later on, you had what was called the pager or the beeper, as we called it. It would beep and it would give you the telex signal that you got a phone. Someone called there. All you were allowed to do later with the pager was actually from your regular home phone uh, hook up a message, an outgoing message. So therefore, then the person could leave you a message. Then all you would see is their number. Back then, they couldn't hide a number, so you can see the number in the pager, and then you'd find the nearest payphone, or you just go home and make the call. Well, why am I speaking like this? Because social media is a good thing. The ability to call somebody, text somebody, is a good thing. But we know now over the past, how long has cell phones been out? 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? It's easy for guys who like to go on dates, lots of dates. It's easy for them to ghost somebody with a text message rather than call the person up. Better yet, rather meet with the person and then face to face tell them they don't want to date them anymore or whatever. They don't want to be in business with the person anymore. They don't need them as a friend anymore. And this is something that has triggered just being on social media. I've come to the conclusion that sometimes I don't even want to hear my phone ring. So I try to shut it off. I don't shut it down per se. I just shut it off. Or better yet, I just put it on silence. Most of the people that I have a connection to, and I'm quite sure it happens with all of you, most of the people that you have a deep rooted emotional, spiritual connection with, you kind of know when you're supposed to call them and when they're going to call you. You can feel the sense of urgency, sadness, melancholy, happiness. You could feel the surge of abundant energy flowing into their life. Because now on the planet, things are such that we are being forced to raise our frequency back into a state of normalcy. See, our true frequency is a higher frequency, and that's normal. I'll say that again. Our true frequency is a higher frequency, and that is normal. We're supposed to have a high flow of energy coming in and out of the body. We're supposed to be super alert like animals are. We're supposed to know when something's on or off. We're supposed to develop ourselves to that. That's why meditation is important every day. Sitting in silence for about an hour, if you can, every day, just to let that other energy roll off of you and get out of your auric field so that you become more centered in the heart and more grounded through your feet. And yes, I know people are selling the thing about grounding, and now they're selling all kind of real soft bendable sneakers that you can wear that conform to the human foot that have magnets at the bottom, so you can pull up the energy out of the earth, as they say. And I always, to some extent, dispute that because not the gadget, but about walking barefooted. We have to keep in mind that we're no longer living like our ancestors did in natural settings. We are no longer living like our grandparents and great grandparents who may have had their own property and could control what's on that property. They can control what's in the earth, what's in the dirt. They could walk around barefooted. And they taught children at an early age to walk barefooted, to callous the soles of the feet so that nothing gets up in there. I wasn't like that. I have tender feet and they're still tender. I know because out here, hey, good afternoon, Linda Garcia. I know out here they have these. I should keep one. They have these thing called I call them bear claws. They're at the base of the needle that falls off of the cactus plants, and there's tons of cactus plants. Some very beautiful cactus plants. Some that look spindly. We have them here, and the unique thing about it, if you catch one of them in the bottom of your shoes, in the crevice, or just in where there's no crevice of a shoe, sole of the shoe, or sneaker, or sandals, you'll track that thing into your home, and then eventually it gets dislodged. So the point is in the sole, the flatter part is dislodged in your carpet, and if you are not paying attention and walk through your own house with socks on or not, you're going to step on one of those things. And they're very, very painful. I take that all into consideration. Sometimes you need to pick those things out of your shoes. Well, today's topic, everyone is not meant to travel with you. Sometimes you need to let them go. Just like the things in the street, glass, crap, you name it, is not supposed to be tracked into your house. You got to get rid of it outside of your house, outside of your home. Many times we find ourselves attracting, which is always a natural process, attracting different types of situations and conditions and relationships. But most of all, people. We need to begin to pay attention to the types of people that are now have been around us for some time, but who are now doing what? Begin to seep into your life. And this is important. They're not supposed to be in our lives for an extended period of time. People in your life gravitate to you because they have what? Different wants, different needs, and different desires. Well, here's the list of folks that you have met and are still meeting. And these are some people who are good at hiding their true personality from you. They are good actors. They are the takers. These are the ones who always want something from you, the takers. And sometimes they will take your most precious organic piece from you. And what is that? Your energy. How many have you have sat around a restaurant, cafe, even in a like a Barnes and Nobles that got coffee in there now and all that stuff, besides books and newspapers, but have sat in places with people who are supposed to be your friends, or you meet them for the first time, and after, before you're done, before your meeting is over with that person, you feel highly drained. You feel like you got to go lay down. You feel like you got a headache. You're feeling aches and pains in your body because the taker has been constantly pulling on your energy as if they got a big siphon hose and they're sucking up all of your chi, pulling as much as they can to themselves. Sometimes they don't have to be physically in your presence. Sometimes you can be talking to them over the phone and you can't seem to get them off the phone. I have a few people like that, students, and who are longtime friends. And I keep saying to myself, that was a long conversation. So now what do? I have to decide. I really tune in through my auric field and expand it. And I think, okay, this person is going to call me today. And they're hoping I have lots of time to give them. This person is going to call and this is how it works. One calls in the morning, the other person is an afternoon call, early afternoon call. And the thing is, I've had to retrain myself that when I get on this call, especially with the morning caller, that I must pay strict attention to the conversation, the words, the energy in the words, and my time, not their time, my time. I have to decide how much of that time that I'm going to give to that particular gentleman. Now, years ago, I used to get really upset, but I realized that's a part of his nature. He's not even aware that he is someone who's taking up another person's time. And he doesn't get it basically until he experiences it. When he experiences it, and he really experiences it, that he sees, that's what he does to myself and other people. The guy in the afternoon, we also go way back, but farther back in our terms of our connection than the first guy, because the second guy, I knew him from grade school and high school. Then we went away to different colleges, came back, and he was still the same. And today, here we are in our 70s, he's still the same way. He It doesn't occur to him that when he calls, instead of him saying, texting, can you help me with something? Or I need to get something off my chest that I'm experiencing. Instead of prefacing it like that, he just, the minute he calls, the minute I pick up the phone, bam, he's right there. Sometimes I got to say, whoa, slow down. But he can't understand why he needs to slow down. So these notes are for those of us who are going through this now or who have experienced this before or continuously. Here's some things that we want to pay attention to. You have the takers, you have people who are needy for attention. We experience that, right? The minute they get in conversation with you, they turn it so it's all light and attention is on them. What bothers them is your patience. What bothers them is your silence because they're not getting an applause out of you. They're not getting you to join their side and be vindictive towards someone else or to be hurtful, disrespectful. So they get upset with you. Then there are the friends who have become high maintenance. And people always say women are high maintenance. Well, I know some guys who are high maintenance. High maintenance in the sense that if you are driving, they need your car. Now, I'm a guy that doesn't have a car, but I know how to get around most places here. I have to spend an Uber, I don't mind. The universe is always taking care of me financially, so I can jump an Uber. I have friends, we get together and we hang out, but I don't use them. If I had friends back east, male friends that came here, I had a female friend that came in and it didn't pan out right for her. And I told her in the beginning, this is not a place where you should come and strive to use people. She didn't believe me. She was always playing victim. She was always, in a subtle way, gaslighting other people. She was always taking, never exchanging, and then would be upset because you're not giving her all of your attention. See, an attention seeker is another kind of gold digger. They're digging for energy, your energy, and anybody else's energy they can grab onto. Then you have the people who are what? Stingy. Woo, we know them, right? The stingy person doesn't share anything. Stingy. You can go out to a bar, a place where you can get some knickknacks and join, and they hoarding drinks, hoarding food, hoarding the table. Sometimes a stingy person is just downright mean because if they see you struggling, and if you're like myself, I'm not the type to ask anybody for money. That's not me. If I'm struggling, I know I'm struggling for a reason and I'll get through it in no time. But the stingy person keeps everything to themselves, ideas to themselves, money to themselves, food to themselves, and books to themselves. No, they're not interested in exchanging energy. They are a part of the me group. Then you have the people who are bossy. They have this deep rooted need, because it's neediness, it's attention. It's not positive attention, it's negative attention. The bossy person is always doing what? Trying to tell you what to do, trying to tell you how to run your life, your affairs, trying to tell you how to do things. But the things that they're telling you about is really what they want from you. It took me a while to see that. A person that was bossy in my life. You need to do this, blah, 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 blah. But what it was is they were still being needy, because the person that is bossy is also the control freak. They got to control how the language goes, how the topics go, how the feelings go, and anything else. If you're going on a trip together, they're going to make the trip miserable for you, because that same person is stingy with energy, very needy, will gaslight you whenever they can, make you feel bad most of the time, give you a big headache. Why? Because they're constantly being the taker. Then you got, again, like I said, the gaslighter. That person blows up everything that you have. And if you are confronted by a gaslighter, what do? You might talk about something that is disturbing to you, but the gaslighter makes it all about themselves and then pours more lighter fluid, more things to get you nervous, upset with yourself, not with them, with yourself. The person that I left out of here was the narcissist. And we all have experienced a narcissistic personality in our life, right? The narcissistic person will do anything to come out on top like they're the victim. The narcissistic personality is a dangerous one, because what a narcissistic person does is what? They find out who are the closest people to you, and then they try to cause confusion between the closest person to you and you. And then the narcissistic person gets in the way so they can feel like they're saving you. But what they really do is cutting that close ally, or that ally might be a sibling that you're close to, might be another family member that you're close to. But why are they cutting them off? Because they know that that person can see them clearly for who they are. So they right away they try to cut them off from you. They'll say anything they want about the person. Hopefully you believe it. So you got to watch out. The most dangerous person is the narcissistic person. Then you have those who are very argumentative. They got to argue about everything. I mean, they're very competitive, and then they got to argue. Argue with the way that you present yourself, the way that you do things, the way that you speak. They're always trying to correct your speech. I know I had a person got upset with me last year, but one of the things they used to do throughout the friendship of 12 years was they noticed. Now, I don't have a speech impediment at all. It just happens the way that I talk. Sometimes I have a lazy way of talking. So I might say, instead of Pacific, which is Spefici, Fi, IC. I should write the word down, right? Um, Sometimes it sounds like I'm saying Pacific, as in the Pacific Ocean. But when I would clarify it and tell that person, oh, yeah, if I think about it, I mess up. If I don't think about it, I don't confuse the pronunciations. But I would tell the person that sometimes they would say certain words too, similar words almost, but I also would tell them how I would gently correct them, not viciously correct them. This person would correct me in front of other people, and other people would go like, why is she doing that? Why? Because she's bossy, likes to be controlling of the conversation and the group. And eventually, over the years of being out here, people saw that clearly. They realized there's something wrong with the person. And now they don't make that many connections with that person. Here's something else. When the person is being argumentative, that means they're trying to control what you tell them and what they tell you. In other words, you have to listen to them almost 24/7. You can't have an opinion. Or better yet, you can't have a truth. Because we know opinions, the word opinion means opine, to pine about something, to fret. So I don't have opinions because I'm not fretting over something. I'm not crying over something. I do have truths. I do have principles. I do have maxims. Maxims are the ultimate truth. Then there are the Steelers, not the football team, but the Steelers. The Steelers are ones who will steal your friends. Why? That's being narcissistic. They want to have your friends so they can have, when they get into a negative dispute with you where they're not winning an argument, when they're trying to control you, now they feel that they have your friends on their side. And now, if they can manipulate their friends, your friends enough, your friends will be what? Their chorus. When they accuse you of something, they could go to your friends because your friends have fallen for their antics, fallen for their behavior. And now they are caught distinctively in their web. And now they can use all your friends against you. Another thing, these people who won't be traveling with you in your further into new starts, new beginnings, new visions, are the people who are complainers. They complain all the time. If they're not complaining about you, they're complaining about the environment, they're complaining about the people around you, or they're complaining about people around them. And they're not doing anything to solve it or to fix it. They're just complaining. And then, of course, there's the what? The victim. Oh, that's the one with the poor me attitude. That's the one who can't help themselves but have this distinctive falling out where somebody did something to them. And that person or group of people did it to them because they're trying to take advantage of them. But usually the complainer who becomes the victim sets up the scenario so that they are the victim and the other person is being oppressive or abusive. But the victim, the one who plays the role, can also be known as a user. Using your energy, using you. I remember when I lived back east, I had some friends that come over at a nice size apartment. The first thing they did, just because I said make yourself at home, that didn't mean go to my refrigerator and rate it. Or they knew that I was allergic to seafood, certain seafood. I was allergic to mussels, right? I was definitely allergic to oysters. I was allergic to crayfish. I was allergic to crabs. I was allergic to shrimp. And what would they bring over? Oh, we got some food, Francis. We brother Fred, we gonna sit down and we can listen to some jazz. and everything that they're preparing is things that I can't eat. Oh, and they would have Brazil nuts. Hey, you like some nuts? I said, what are they? Oh, it's just, mixed nuts. Well, if they got Brazil nuts in it, I can't eat it. These things would happen. But I learned in the long run, I was not doing anything about it. For one day, when the group would come over, especially we were watching baseball, college basketball games, the Final Four. We're watching the Olympics, track and field, whatever, Super Bowl. I would make sure, and I would make sure distinctively that I had food already prepared. Now, if they were bringing food over, I would make sure I'd have enough leftovers for myself. So I would prepare my foods for the group, whatever I had. And I'm not a cook, but I do my best. But I'd make sure I'd have ample amount of food that I prepared off to the side and in the freezer. Because I had certain friends that would come over, and these are the ones that your mom and dad told you about. They eat you out of house and home. They eat your food, they drink up everything, they don't replace anything. They don't come with something, but they take from everybody. So we have to be prepared for the user. Well, none of these people that I've described are going to be in your life for long. They're not going to be able to hang out because the vibration, the era of time that we are now in is the age of Aquarius. We're no longer in the Pisces. See, in the Pisces, we were like, oh, it's okay, let them through. No, we are now in the age of Aquarius where we need balance, we need harmony, we need exact exchange. We have to be more alert and pay attention who these people are in our lives. And as I say, many people are actors. Sometimes you don't know anything about them until it's a little too late. So we have to look for any red flags in the beginning. When we look for the red flags in the beginning, so you might realize, okay, there's a person in that needs a lot of attention. They need a lot of emotional maintenance and mental maintenance. You always gotta boost them up all the time. How much energy does that take from you? That's a taker. The person is trying to control everything, the conversation all the time. They got to be right all the time. That's a narcissistic person. That's a person that's also a gaslighter. That's a person who's bossy. That's a person who's what? In need of negative attention. So we have to take the list and scrunch it down. When we scrunch down the list, now you can look at people. So a part of our homework assignment is try to find out how many people that you actually have around you that are do that. If you got children in your life, ask them to be very observant because sometimes children will have so many people around them that they can't see that they got some friends that are definitely using them and will continue to use them and will gaslight them and will take friends out of their life. But as my late mother used to say, if the friends that you had could be snatched out of your life by other people, then they weren't meant to be there anyway. So sometimes we got to let these people go. We have to let them go clearly and cleanly. People say, well, bless and release. Sometimes it's hard to bless and release. Sometimes it's like, kick them out. Yep, sometimes you got to, boom, like the field goal kicker and kick them out. Because you can be nice to them and they don't get it. Or they do get it, but now they're going to test you. They're going to come back. They're going to bring other people with them who will all gang up on you, right? Emotionally and mentally. So you have to know ahead of time. You got to be like the wolf and sniff out their energy. And if you could detect it right away, have nothing to do with those people. because once you let them in, they are hard to get rid of. What you should do is think about yourself first. That's what they do. They thought about themselves first. So now you got to think about yourself first. What is important for you? When you get up in the morning, what is the most important thing you have to do? Take care of yourself. Brush your teeth, comb your hair, take a shower, take a bath, pick your nails, whatever you got to do, crimp them, cut them, take care of your skin. We know out here in the Southwest, I've learned the hard way. You got to keep taking care of your skin, or the sun will dry you out gradually. The sun will win, and the wind will win. Okay, so you always got to take care of yourself first. Get comfortable about yourself first. Shower with yourself. Shower yourself with love. Shower yourself with unconditional love. Embrace who you are. Begin to shine your light. That's important. Shine your light, but don't waste your energy. Don't waste your energy with people who have nothing else better to do than drain you. I'm quite sure you remembered if you loaned books out to people, kitchen utensils out to people, things that yard tools out to people, and then they don't take good care of it. What do? They mess it up. I remember growing up watching my parents have the push lawnmowers before they went to gas lawnmowers. And some neighbors were too lazy, a two income household, too lazy to go get their own gas mower, to get their own standard. Always coming down the block wanting to borrow our things, our rakes, our shovels. And they would come back, something wrong with them. So when you take care of good things, you take care of yourself. When you take care of yourself, you take care of your surroundings. And you take care of those who are closest to you as friends. And you get to know them very well. And if you spot the red flag, look at it. Because if there's one, there are more. That should be a motto. Not just people say, I saw a lot of red flags. No, if you see one red flag, that's enough. Because there are going to be other red flags. But what we have to do is learn how to let them go. Because some people will play a psychological game on you. They'll play with your emotions. Oh, woe is me. You're throwing me out of this relationship. Oh, you don't want. I know some people right here in the complex. There's one guy that walks around here, and he wonders why people are talking about him. Why? Because he says some very inappropriate things to women and to men. And if you spot the red flag right away, you got to keep looking and observing and keep paying attention. So, my message for today is it's time to bless them when you can. Let go of them thoroughly as you should. And then stay open for the right higher frequency people who appreciate you and everything that you do. So, in other words, we have to be what? Selective. We have to select positive people. We have to select positive speaking, positive acting, positive doing, positive needing, positive desires. When we are paying more attention to that, then we become more blessed because we have to do what? Look out for ourselves. Those of you who are empathic, you got to look out for yourself. Those of you who are psychic, got to look out for yourself. If you're intuitive, look out for yourself. It's important because nowadays we're being bombarded by the news media. We're being bombarded by negative politicians. We're being bombarded by some ministers who have fallen into those zones. We are being bombarded all the time. Bombs are dropping around us all the time. We have to see clearly who is in our surroundings. Do you have any comments, everybody? Any comments you want to make? Press that like button if you can, or come back and press it later. Was it a good talk? Did I talk too much? Those of you who are attending tonight's Thursday, I couldn't do it first Thursday, last Thursday, because that was Independence Day. And people go to cookouts and things and with family. So I moved everything to tonight, $47 for all of interview, because you're all regulars studying with me. Just $47 through Venmo or PayPal or whatever. Um, the topic for tonight is not done here. Is on my Zoom link. Is the heart knows. That's the workshop topic for tonight. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Barbara, for being here. Golden Timeline 711. Jackie Fillmore, thank you for being here. Indigo Moon, now that I know who you are, thank you for being here. If I didn't know who you were, I'd still tell you thank you. You can replay this later within an hour or 30 minutes. You can come back to Resident Essentials YouTube channel and replay it. I'm going to sign off now. It's time for me to take a break and start to work on my new project a little bit and also kind of get ready for this Sunday. And I got class tonight online, but also get ready for my Saturday, folks. And of course, in yesterday was the 10th. So in 2 more weeks, starting Wednesday, July 24th, I will be teaching my book, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for about 90 minutes or so. I've got about, I think, 3 students. So I'll be teaching the book. And the book has 25 chapters, but I condensed everything down into 13. So, in other words, class 1, 2, and 3 in order is chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's how you know. And of course, so there's many things there to be talked about. For those of you that are attending, I've already mailed out the lesson plan, number 1, and the outline of what's to come. Thank you for your time. Have a pleasant rest of your day. Maybe I'm going to take a nap. I can utilize it. Thank you for being here. I look forward to hopefully seeing you all next week as well as the weeks to come. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your day and afternoon. Until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. See you all soon.